Good morning, you guys. We've got a little bit of a tricky situation with the grades going on out here, and we're getting water coming into the building, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about with the grades. Now, anytime I go into a situation like this to assess it, I always come up with I have three options. And those three options are to regrade to get the water to flow away from the structure, install French drains if the regrading isn't enough, and then full-fledged foundation waterproofing, where we dig down along the edge of the foundation, expose the foundation wall, expose the footing, and put foundation waterproofing membrane over the wall, wrap it over the footing, and then install a drain tile system. I don't think we have to go that deep on this one. I think we can cure a lot of the things that we're gonna be doing right here just with grades alone. So I always try to start with the least invasive, which is grading, and then go on from there. But if you take a look right here, you see how the grades are pitching right in toward the house. I mean, you can just see this is way too high. Very typical situation, all way too high. Now technically we're supposed to have 8 inches above the sill plate. I mean below the sill plate. The ground should be that far below the sill plate, and the sill plate is where the concrete wall hits, and then there is a plate. It should be green treated, and then on that is where you're stick framing. And what happens is the water will come down, it'll hit the ground, and it'll bounce back up. You can actually see all the spackling right here. You can see it's the rain is hitting, bouncing, and that constant wet dry leads to the rot. That's why you got to have the 8 inches, because it gives you just enough space that it just stays dry. It's not constantly wet dry. So we've got a lot of work to do here if we're going to try to achieve any of that. I don't know what we're going to be able to achieve just with grading alone, but that's what we're going to start with. The first thing we got to do is just get this hill to not flow right into the back of the property. Looks good. Now, we're not going to be hauling anything out or anything in. We're going to try to balance the site as best we can. We're going to try to use the only materials that we have available to us on the site. And one of the prerequisites that we need to do is we need to maintain a road going down to the lake. This is the access road. And so this can't be cut down without building something here. So we want to be careful how we grade this out. And we also got to have a second access path going down that way. So the soil that we generate from the cut procedure there is going to be flipped up here to build an elevated parking pad, which means coming through here, I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to cut this out, flip this up, and build a wall on the backside. So part of what makes this an interesting job is it's tight. It's a big machine in a tight spot. There's not much room for forgiveness. So I'm going to cut my path in right here. It's going to have to be wide enough, not only for the machine, but for the boulders as well. I've got excess boulders here, so I'm going to use my boulders to build this up so I can get the water to flow a little better away from here. So Well, that's not how it's supposed to work. Now I am doing mass digging, right? But I don't have this idle all the way up. I don't need all that power. It's just sand. It's just sand. So I'm conserving fuel. I'll be able to make my fuel go a lot further by not running in that full idle. And it just gives me more control over the machine. If I'm careful, if I get myself in trouble, I might have enough time to get myself out of trouble. But I'm going to try to build myself a big enough work area that I don't get myself in trouble, right? Is this the interior framing?
Yeah.
Is that for the walls too, Frankie? Is that enough?
Yeah, 30 of them.
You got 30?
Yeah, I don't know if it's enough. It's gonna be close with with that back one, but yeah, I'll have those. If I need a few, I'll just get a few more.
All right, we got the wood hauled in for Frankie. You know, every little thing he can do helps out. That's the way I look at it, even if it's not something big, amazing, or important. One less thing on somebody else's plate. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. Now you notice I'm setting these forward. This is all gonna get pushed in, filled in. This is where the grades will really be achieved in here. And if this gets worse, then this allows me to French drain this area, pick everything up and flow it down. I don't think it's gonna get that bad, but let's finish up the boulder wall. Problem is we're out of boulders. We only got one of those left. But we got a whole row of regular boulders. So what we're gonna end up doing is coming down here and grabbing a few of these that at least look like all of our other ones. I was hoping to save a few for the landscaping, but we need them for the grading. And I see two right there that look like they'd fit pretty decent. At least go. You know what I mean? Go. They gotta be angular, kind of brownish. We want them to match. We don't want to have all these boulders have this look and then all of a sudden you got one bright pink one or some goofy thing like that. All right, let's go. Carefully pick a boulder out of the wetlands. This doesn't go. Right? See? Those two don't go. That one kind of goes. That one, not so much. I could put that cornerstone right there. No, I need the space. I need the space. See, these aren't even touching. I gotta come in and adjust. Let's see if the keys are in Frankie's truck, because I'm going to be regrading in here. Although it's not technically in the way, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Oh, yeah. Keys are in Frankie's truck. Along with a few other things. Got some space. You can fix the grades. Machine's thirsty. ASV needs a drink. Let's feed her. Let's feed her what she wants. That means I drank 20 gallons of fuel since yesterday. Yesterday, it was a long day. This machine put some time in yesterday. So before we backfill, let's get the nasty stuff buried. Does that sound bad? I'm talking about rocks. All the rocks. All stuff that's not gonna grow grass. Let's put that behind that wall. It's not gonna grow grass. I want to be able to grow grass right up to the side of the cabin, and that means I've got to change these grades not only to control water flow, but to allow me enough space to bring in black dirt so that I can reestablish vegetative cover. So when I'm cutting down for the subgrade for drainage control, I'm adding a little extra so I can add material back in. Did not like it. Still, it's not perfect, but it's what I've got. I just don't have any more boulders. Because I wouldn't mind having a little bit more in the middle so I could create a crest. In the middle, so the water sheds that way and this way. Option one. Or do we just add a few boulders right here. It's gonna look janky. I don't like building from the backside, but if we did put, yeah, and if it falls forward, it's gonna roll right into the cabin. Not a good scenario. I just popped the forks off, and I think I'm gonna pop them back on and try to pop in a boulder setting to create a crest in the middle so I can get everything to pitch down to the sides instead of straight toward the back.
Do you believe we can find the answers in our mind? I've been waking up from dreams that used to play. There's no looking back on love, it's too late. How does she know my rhythm and frequency? The pulse of my breath reflecting like sequins, and the light from her spirit it always shines. She's in my heart but she got no time. How does she know? Will she take me for a ride? Do you believe we can find the answers in our mind? I've been waking up from dreams that used to play.
Well, I ended up putting more in than what I originally thought I was going to, which is no big deal, but now I've got to find some fill soil. I've got some extra sand there, but I think we can do one better. We can grab some of this out of here and start to blend all of this stuff together a little bit better so that it flows more. So let's start borrowing from in here, putting it up there and getting everything to contour around together. What this next step will do is get ready for seed. Now it's not ideal seeding conditions, but we do have a lot of good sand, which allows for free draining. And we have a little bit of existing turf and black dirt, and we're gonna just incorporate all of that together because the turf is actually pretty solid. Let me show you. Now at this point, this ground is not ready to start growing vegetation. It's just too compacted. It's had too much construction traffic on it for much too long, and it needs to be scarified and loosened up. By using the big power rake, I can start to loosen up that soil and bring everything back together, but this is not the final step. This is just the intermediate step before we do the black dirt, which is yet to come. That's not a good way to end the day. Last run, and I'm looking like, where's this drip coming from? Inside here. I gotta pull that open. I gotta pull that apart. Find out exactly what happened. All right. Good start, bad ending, right? Don't want that hydraulic fluid leaking all over. I'm gonna try to plant grass seed here. But that's gotta end the day, because I can't use that anymore, and we're done anyway. I mean, if we take a look, we got everything flowing, blended in. The grades are looking good. The hill blends, this whole thing blends, all the grades pull down. So let's take a look at some of these grades, because this is what was the tricky part of the whole job site, was getting these grades to blend by the sill plates. Now, we had to break one of our own rules. We were not everywhere 8 inches below the sill plate, because sometimes it's just not feasible. But we do have the grade at least going the right way, which is awesome. So you can see that pipe there. That's how much we've taken down. And now we get everything to go this way. This still flows this way. I still got to hand touch up all in there. That grade will go higher by that stone. This will flow this way from that stone to this stone. This will be the swale right through here. We've got a peak. Water flows both ways. We'll see it better from this side. We've now divided it. A bucket dressing and maybe a grade. Or a drag, I should say, and we'll be good to go. And that's this job. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out. A little dirty today. That means it was a good day. Hope you guys had a good day. God bless you guys. Oh, you want to hear something crazy? I was grading just now. The camera may have picked it up. I don't know which camera would have picked it up. An otter just ran from underneath my deck. It's been, I guess an otter has now made a home under my deck, because last night Lucy was going nuts. I thought it was a cat for sure. And I'm working, and here an otter comes out. Rink, right into the lake. That's the first otter I've ever seen in the wild in my life, and it's living in my cabin. Maybe I should live here more. I don't know. Maybe it's a sign. With that, I will sign off. God bless you guys. Go get them. Catch you on the next one.